the last time the General Assembly met, I was in Italy. I wasn't there. I've never been to General Assembly except for one time. It was in Long Beach. I left before lunch. I am not a GA insider at all. I have had absolutely nothing. I spelled synod with an I, okay? So when I got a call from the moderator of the Presbyterian Church asking if I would be willing to be the moderator of a General Assembly commission looking at what was then called middle governing bodies, I thanked her and said no. And, but then I deleted the email because I thought it would be rude to say no to the moderator over email. And so I said I'd be glad to chat with her, have a conversation with her. She asked me if I'd be willing to take on this role, and I did. And the reason why I did is because she basically said to me, you're an outsider. We need people with fresh eyes looking at our structure. And the key question that we want to look at is a question that is not about structure for structure's sake. It's about the way governing bodies are organized, and look at the language, to be responsive both to the Spirit of Christ and the changing opportunities for discipleship. At the last General Assembly, a commission was put together with commission powers and authority that would allow all the flexibility necessary for presbyteries who want to change the way they do business so that they can respond to the opportunities of discipleship in their area in a sense of being responsive to the Spirit of Christ. And I had taken part in work here in Los Ranchos Presbytery. I was the moderator of a group that was called the Odyssey Group that did a retooling of our presbytery that we called Flipping the Presbytery. And they said, we've seen the work that's happened in Los Ranchos. We think that there's some interesting possibilities for the denomination. Would you be willing to be the moderator? And I said yes. The work of our commission has been trying to answer this question. How does our structure help or hinder us? What does it mean to be Presbyterians? I mean, we're Presbyterians. The center of our structure are presbyteries. And how do presbyteries relate to congregations who want to be faithful in a changing world with opportunities for discipleship? My favorite quote on leadership is that leadership is disappointing people at a rate they can tolerate. I have basically spent the better part of the last 2 years walking around the country doing that. Disappointing people who wish that the answer to all the problems that have been laid out so passionately and eloquently that we all agree on, a changing world, a Christendom world that's not coming back, at times a moribund church that is close to deathly ill, that all the things, the problems that keep us up at night, or at least get us scratching our heads in the morning, could be solved by a commission walking in and giving a silver bullet that would actually solve it all, a giant technical fix. And what I want to tell you is that if you came here hoping that this would be the way that you could keep from leaving the denomination, you could be deeply disappointed. The whole purpose of our report had absolutely nothing to do with whether or not people were leaving the denomination. It was started before 10A. It has continued its work in the wake of 10A. It has started at a time when we were called the Middle Governing Bodies Commission. We had our name changed because the Constitution changed. That's how much change is going on at our denomination. And our work has been to try to address that changing context. Not just what's happened in the last 2 years, but what's been happening within our culture for the last 50. Our report has been finished, it's been published, our recommendations are now available on PCBiz. They're going to go to the General Assembly, and some of them call for even constitutional changes that, if adopted, would allow us to have opportunities, I believe, to engage in absolutely every one of the key questions that have been raised already today. That there's opportunities right within our midst if it's passed. But the question is whether or not we want to engage in those particular solutions. So what I want to do is give you an overview of our report, what we found along the way, what we're suggesting as a possibility. You need to understand this, that I'm speaking to you as a Presbyterian pastor, and I'm speaking to you as Presbyterians. This is not a response to ECO. It's not intended in any way to be a counter-proposal to ECO. The people who are involved in these movements are my friends. I was in the original conversation that took place down in Arizona with all of the folks where the deathly ill letter came out of. I've been good friends with all of these folks. I respect them all, and I understand why people are leaving the denomination. I understand decisions they've had to make. But right before the Orlando gathering, I wrote a blog post called Why I'm Staying. And the reason why I wrote it is because I believe that there are opportunities still within our denomination to deal with the two big issues of our day, which is a deficient ecclesiology, understanding of what it means to be the church, and an opportunity for us to create missional congregations And that whether you're in ECO or fellowship or the PCUSA in any other form, that is the issue of the day. Will our congregations become vital locations for discipleship and mission, reaching out in their area?